Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you, especially on this channel, where I like to go deep within my reading. So I like to look at everything. We focus more on the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. This gives you the power back. See, it allows you to see your situation from a different perception. And then we look to see why you attracted this person so that you can integrate the spiritual lesson. Well, you'll know what to do to integrate the spiritual lesson, because the integration process is not just the awareness, but it's the actual behaviorism habit to do something, to ground a different behaviorism so that you can see yourself differently. Now, if you resonate with this video and you love it, and you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. Also know that anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you find in the description box. So if you are connected to any other zodiac, you can go to my Psychic Soul Healer All Zodiac channel, which that channel needs love. So give it love. I don't know why. I guess people don't like all zodiac pages, or they just don't like mine. Or check out my Virgo channel. That's a happening crowd, just like this crowd is here. Again, so if you're connected, check out those other pages to see what your person's perception is. Cross watchers are always more than welcome to watch, and being able to see again your situation from somebody else's perception a lot of times is very healing, especially the person that you're dealing with, obviously. All right. So let's see what that underlining energy is. And I like to look at that because we're looking at shadows. And so when a person has a lot of spiritual blocks, they create personas, facades, right? Everyone wears a mask because those are the parts of ourselves that we've detached from. Those are the parts of ourselves that we rejected. This is why we want to know, especially when we're, connected to someone that has a lot of blocks, because they have a lot of spiritual blocks. They have a lot of sabotaging behaviorisms. So we need to look and see. Now, this doesn't say whether or not your person cares, doesn't care what they're in. It's more about, again, what's going on with them. Okay, let's see. Fear. Well, I feel like you are in connection with someone that does have a lot of spiritual blocks, and they don't trust themselves anymore in relationships. It's like they don't know what to do. This person tends to be either very cocky and self-righteous, or they tend to be very needy, um, not confident at all. There's no balance. And there's no balance because I feel like you're connected to someone that tends to be more of a loner. And then when they have relationships, those relationships become very codependent because they don't really even know who they are. And you may be dealing with someone in their 50s, it doesn't matter. If we don't heal from our spiritual blocks and we continue to live the same way, well, then we never learn. And what is life about? Life, we're down here to learn and manifest. So when a person is stuck in a perception, a negative perception about themselves, it's due to the experiences that they've lived. So in order to live new experiences or go back into the same experience and see yourself different, you never integrate the spiritual lesson. So what I feel like is that this person tends to live very safe. And because they live very safe, they live very boring. And the person that lives boring, that's not our natural state, to be boring, to go off to work every day and work a job and come home and be robots. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're down here to learn and to manifest whatever you desire, whatever you want to express. Like you are an expression of love. You're here to give and receive of love, which is your free will on how you choose to manifest. So whether you choose to be a plumber, whether you choose to be an actress, whether you choose to be an influencer, what doesn't matter. It's whatever. This person never found that, doesn't know who they are. I feel like they have a job, they make money. Money is not an issue, but money is not the same thing as passion. That's why a lot of times spiritual test is, do you want love or do you want money? And I'm kind of feeling like your person always chooses money. They always choose, again, and not realizing that money has no energy. And since they don't feel good about themselves, they always lose money. So I feel like they're in a constant state of fear because they don't understand why relationships are difficult. They don't understand why they keep experiencing the same undesirable life experiences. So if you're not feeling your person right now, I feel like they're kind of going through a dark night of the soul. They're kind of like, again, there's this realization that just life isn't working. I feel like this person keeps going through karmic cycles, but the cycles like will last like 13, 14 years where maybe life is good and then all of a sudden life is bad and then they have to rebuild themselves. So it's almost like they're in like a downfall. And again, it's because they did not build their life on truth. They built their life on, you know, doing what was comfortable, doing what was easy, but not really fulfilling. And then when that happens, we have to fill ourselves through outside things. And I feel like that's addictive behavior. So too much drinking, too much partying, too much hooking up with people, surface relationships, which again is why their life looks the way that it does, because you're not vibing at a high vibration. So again, you may not be feeling this person because again, I feel like they're in a very dark place. They're in a place of introspection, which is actually good because this person needs to heal. So let's see what they did to you when they were in, your life, because I feel like you're in separation from this person and that the whole underlining energy of fear and how it relates to you is they're not moving, they're not doing anything because they don't know what to do. They don't trust themselves for reasons that I just explained. Okay, perfectionist. So again, this person has an unrealistic expectation of what they would actually need to do to be in a relationship. There's such a deep sense of inadequacy because that's what comes with shame, that this person again tries to be perfect, you know? So in their sense of trying to be perfect, they never really are able to connect to you. They're never really able to, you never really know who this person is, because they're too busy trying to, impress or put on that facade to make you think they're a certain way, which people that have shame, again, have a deep sense of feeling inadequacy because of the experiences that they play. They feel that no one likes them because of this shame. So they overdo it within their behaviorisms or underdo it where they don't give any energy at all. Because again, they're strategizing, they're trying to feel and see how to act instead of that when you're like, it's not see and strategize, it's a feel. And this person doesn't want to have deep, intimate feelings. But the thing is, I feel like they do have those feelings towards you. It's right now their life, I really feel like isn't going well. And it always brings them back to shame. Always makes this person with the karmic cycles that happen every 15 years, every 10 years, is that it's shame. I live the same feeling that makes me feel not lovable, that makes me feel like I'm not good enough, that makes me feel like I don't have, again, it keeps you in the lowest of low energies. So, which tells us that this person has inherited past family karma, which means their parents had habits and behaviorisms that again, we're in alignment with fear. So addiction is always part of that. Avoidance is a part of that, again, because it's a way of suppressing instead of like we have to go through the fear in order to be able to actually integrate it. If we avoid it, we just are kind of holding on to that energy, and your energy is made up of your thoughts and your emotions. And then you become a vibration of that energy. And that's why this person always continues to attract the same type of people and the same type of scenarios. Their behaviorisms and dealing with life are the same. So they're like, I don't trust myself, and I'm very fearful to get into another relationship because what's going to happen to me next time? What could happen to me? It's like, because it never works out. So I feel so inadequate that I can't have love, that I'm just going to, again, appear again to be desirable. At least that's best. And if I am perceived as being perfect, I'm going to be seen as more desirable. This is almost what I feel like this person feels like. So again, I'm going to come across as more superior. Again, there's that over the second chakra is, again, the individuality, but your balance, and your balance comes from your individuality through who you perceive that you are. This person doesn't know who they are. Their life is falling apart. So we have a tower moment in our life, whatever's left standing is the truth. It's like whatever, again, fell apart wasn't based on truth. It was based on the facade. And again, we can have a facade for a limited amount of time, but it's not going to last. And people know what's real and what's authentic and what's not. It's again, and that's felt. And so this person, again, is trying to strategize so they don't feel anything. They don't trust what they feel. Again, they're in a very survival mode, so they're overcompensating. So again, I want to seem as desirable. I feel if I am desirable, this is like what this person feels like. Oh, I got an itchy nose. I wonder, am I getting into a fight with someone, or maybe this person can get into a fight with someone? Again, maybe this person, you're going to run into them and they're going to, again, I feel like maybe start a fight with you because you're in separation from them and they're imbalanced. Again, keep that in mind. Superior. It's again, this is the person wants to come across as superior. Again, that's the overcompensating because they really feel inadequate. So they don't realize that that's what they do too. It's again, because they're trying to emulate. And when you're emulating, you're copying. So it's almost like trying to mirror what someone looks like, and sometimes it's funny, even when you watch people emulate, it's like it kind of looks funny. It's like always like a comedian, can do it, where that's what it feels like. So this person always feels a little silly, inadequate. So again, I feel like they because of that, it's not real. And then on top of it, it's like they don't like how they feel. So just altogether, that's a lot of negative energy. You don't like who you are, you don't trust who anyone else is. And it's really because you're not living from your truth. So you're again trying to overcompensate through your behaviorisms, and it looks silly. And of course it feels awkward. And you don't feel safe because then you're always on guard. And that's how this person is. And so you ask them anything, that everything is, they're always on edge. It's like that's the defensiveness, because again, they're looking for a problem. They're looking, so to even have a conversation with this person, it would be difficult because again, they're not really superior, they're acting superior. No one's perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. We shoot for excellence. We all have our own unique excellence, and that comes from the actual unfoldment process. When you let your unique talents and your passions and your energies, you put towards something, you find your unique individuality that is the excellence, and not everyone's going to like it. It's just the way that it goes. Majority may like it, but there is no perfect. And the key is that we just shoot for excellence, and we're okay with that. We don't feel the need to be perfect, and we understand that we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Where this person feels inadequate, so anyone that asks them any type of question or anything, they're defensive. So, try getting close to them and try even getting them to be real with you. It's going to be impossible because they're not real with themselves. So, spiritual blocks. Spiritual blocks. These are bad ones. They happened in childhood. They're root chakra imbalance. Person never found themselves. So that really creates a really bad second chakra imbalance where the person is all imbalanced. And because they feel imbalanced, because that's a feeling center, it's the birthing center. And what we see is every time they birth something, it crumbles to the ground because the roots of it are not strong. It's not built on truth. We always have to come from our truth. Can't be a carbon copy of someone else. We can't emulate someone else. We have to find it. And that's the thing. That's how we get strong within ourselves, strong emotionally. And this person's not strong emotionally, but they're not emotionally intelligent. And so if you're connected to someone like this and you're like, well, I don't know why they don't act, they don't know how. This is what it looks like when we say someone's on a low vibration, and they even know that they're on a low vibration. That's why they do all that. It's like they don't know how to go on a high vibration because no one's educated them, because there's a lack of spiritual knowledge within the world. And they've been traumatized by the environment that they grew up in. Now, that doesn't mean that you should take it all, but this is why we have to look at things always through the lens of unconditional love. Even when you're like, motherfucker, this is what you did to me, and there's hurt there, there's pain there. Well, that's your lesson. But we understand at least what's going on, not that the person was just fucked up and just wanted to treat us this way. That's not really what happens when people have wounds. Again, they're in there, this is their reality, and their reality was, that it wasn't safe. So they created all these like behaviorisms, again, because they were neglected. And so I feel like they just don't pay attention to what's important. And it's like, because they don't really know, again, what is truly worth spending time on. Lack of individuality, lack of the second chakra. Again, so I mean, if I'm going to follow the crowd, but in that, I'm never really going to feel content. So I'm going to try to get my happiness through outside things. I'm always going to come up short. I'm going to build things that are not built to last. And it's not because that they don't want to or that they can. It's a level of consciousness. And everything always has to be built up from unconditional love. Long road. So it's again, this person has a long way to go before they can find what they really want and to grow, because it's like they're very spiritually like broken. And the reason why is because they keep reliving the same experiences that are keeping them locked in that mindset where they're like, I'm not lovable, I can't have, there's a lot of shame. It's again, there's really difficult root chakra imbalance. It means that they've inherited these and they've been conditioned in the environment to believe that they're not worthy, that they're not good enough, that there's something wrong with them. They have deep shame. And that is given to a child when they are raised by an abusive parent, because children just don't have shame. Children might do things that are wrong, but it's the way that the child was reprimanded. It was the way that that child was made to feel. And again, we know it's a root chakra imbalance because again, it's the connection to the physical body, the physical world, all the physical elements of the physical world is how strong this person feels within their physical body. Again, it relates to everything physical in the physical world, which this person has problems with. They build things, they don't last. Their connections don't last. How they feel about themselves isn't good. So they're so caught up in this. You met them before whatever happened in their life. So this is why, again, they're in a place of fear, but we will look and see what they plan on doing regardless, because just because they're in this energy doesn't mean that they'll stay within this energy. A person can always redeem themselves, and obviously the best time that a person should redeem themselves is usually when they hit rock bottom. And this is kind of what what this story is telling us, that this person is in like a place of rock bottom, which is why they're so fearful. So again, let's look and see what it was like to deal with this person. We saw it from their perception and what spirit says from their perception. Again, trapped. I felt trapped in this connection with no way out. I couldn't take it anymore. So I feel like that could be you and it could be them. It could be both. And that happens when there's a strong soul connection where you love the person, but it's again, it's a runner chaser dynamic, that because this person isn't healed, and they never, again, the healing comes from the fact that they never went out and explored life. They never found themselves. So they're still walking around with whatever programs they had been given in childhood, from that imbalanced environment that they grew up in, from that harsh parent. So again, walking around with that shame. So again, this person has major intimacy issues because their parent was the person that did that to them. So I feel like their feelings that they have for you can, again, be so overwhelming that they feel trapped because they don't want to feel obligated. There's a part of themselves that's like, I feel like I can't get away from this connection. And I feel like I can't get away from this connection. Though I have feelings, though, I don't want to act on those feelings because I don't trust myself. Because if I go back into another relationship, it'll probably destroy me, probably kill me next time. Because this relationship, the past relationship that I feel like this person was in, kind of like wiped them out. They took them for everything that they had. Like they didn't have anything. They might have went into the relationship with a whole lot. So there's that. And for you, it's like you have a connection with somebody and they're not giving you anything. So just again, that strong soul connection, but then you're not giving anything and this person isn't giving. So I feel like both of you needed to learn that lesson. And that again would fall underneath the second chakra, because it's like to be connected to a person that's not giving. And for this person to be so fearful, for them, it's really like a root chakra thing. Again, fearful. They shouldn't be fearful of anybody. You're strong within yourself when you create yourself. So this person again always gets into codependent relationships and is like, no, I don't want that. That's why they're fearful. So they don't live a certain way. Now, this doesn't mean it's not a soul relationship. I feel like it is a soul relationship. I feel like you came into this person's life to teach them. I feel like you came into this person's life to heal them. But I also feel like it was a lesson for you too, because you're like, I feel trapped in a relationship with a person that doesn't give anything, that has so many problems. Like, why is it that I'm attracting somebody that has so many problems? So it's more or less like feeling trapped in the karmic cycle that this person brings. And again, the person's terrified because feeling trapped about feeling stuck in the karmic cycle that they've only lived. And that would be terrifying because at least, you know, now while they're free, there's like they're even if they're living safe, there's always the possibility that they say to themselves, "Oh, I'll do this one day. I'll go here one day." That I don't feel like this person ever does it. I feel like it's the freedom is there, and the fear that the freedom will be gone is what this person witnessed, how their parent grew up. Again, where their parent was trapped and couldn't get out of the relationship. So again, they're reliving that trauma over and over and over again. This person could be 50 years old. It doesn't matter. It's like the same scenario happens every 10 years, every 15 years. This is what has made this person feel like there's something wrong with them. Every 5 years, every 6 years, doesn't matter. Whenever the karmic program was activated, and that happens during certain ages. So, and so then it's also like, I feel like you're like, and I would try and talk to you, and then you would judge me. Then this person would just not let you get close to them, or you would feel judged. But I feel like this person always feels judged because they feel inadequate. So I feel like that's a two-way or two. It's not you, it's not them, it's both. You both were mirroring each other, but for different reasons. You're like, okay, like you shouldn't be judging me because I'm just trying to have a conversation. This person was so defensive, they're not hearing really what you're saying. They're hearing what the wound is saying. They're, again, so they're on guard, and that's what wounds do. It's especially when a person isn't grounded, and this person has a root chakra imbalance, they're not connected to their physical body. So they're more or less coming from a place of a reactionary, which happens when we've lived traumatic experiences over and over and over and over and over again. We're not grounded because we're too busy waiting for it to happen. So we again wind up unconsciously creating what we don't want to happen, what we're trying to protect ourselves from. And so this person's like, you know, realizes that and is like, doesn't want to deal with it. Then it triggers them to go into their avoidance mode. Like, well, I don't really want to be confronted because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be blamed. Almost like they go back into their childhood, that you're an adult. And that's what happens with trauma. When a person goes through a certain trauma at a certain age, it's like it's actually stunts their capabilities to really perceive what's going on and to handle what's going on. And they never really learn the spiritual lesson. They avoid. And so when you avoid, the energy's still there, whether you avoid it or not, because you are your energy, your thoughts and your emotions. And if you don't integrate the thought or the emotion, well, that spiritual energy just continues to make you a magnet for the same types of experiences where, of course, this person would be like, I don't want to go be in another relationship. I don't care what the fuck I feel. It's like, you don't understand. Next time, what can happen to me? I had a hard time letting go of the past and the fears associated with it. So they manifest in chaos in my relationships, which is what I've been trying to tell you the whole time. And I feel like that could also happen for you a little bit, but I feel like actually you've done a lot of healing and you wouldn't put up with it. However, I also feel like this person's coming into your life, spirit saying, well, like, yeah, your mind knows. But did you really learn? Have you really integrated the spiritual lesson? No, not until you fully have gone through the experience, you haven't. So here's this person that comes into your life that's all wounded. But I feel like that's the difference. It's like you're like, yeah, I recognize it and I won't like put my energy there, where this person is again like just living in their own hell. So even though they're acting like this crazy energy, hard down. Sorry about that. Um, like even though they you know are living in their own hell and everything, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have feelings. We don't know what they feel at this point because they don't know what they feel. Again, all I know is that they were a runner in the relationship. They felt like they were suffocated in the relationship. They were making you not feel like good in the relationship, you know, and mainly because of their own wounds. I'm trying to, again, project something that they're not. So I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right things to you. Again, this person is like, doesn't trust themselves. Like I said, is like just in a fear, like they would love to have a conversation. They would love to tell you how they feel. Um, there is a part of them that does feel like safe, feels like you would understand, but also is like they don't know whether they did so much damage to the connection. I mean, listen, the chaos and the craziness of the just them trying to perceive that there's something that they're not, trying to come across more superior, and then running from you, feeling again trapped in the relationship when, you know, when it feels normal, like them never allowing you to emotionally feel safe. That's pretty much what they did. So it's like, wouldn't allow you. So they don't know whether that you're like, you damage the connection so much, why bother? It's like they hurt you, but it's again, this person has sabotaging behaviors from the shame, and until they integrate that shame, they're always going to get in their own way. And so we have to, that's why we have to look and go even deeper, because it's like we got to get to the real, what do they feel? Because all this shit is on top of it. And that's why the behaviorisms come out the way that they, like more in alignment with the wound than like what they feel. They're afraid. I've been learning about twin flames and it feels right to me. So again, I feel like this person is like looking for some spiritual guidance. They're looking for a reason why their life is the way that they are. That like this pushed them into like looking. I don't believe that they're normally a spiritual person. I believe that they're normally a very logical, analytical person. You know, like I feel that this is a person that you know, grew up in survival, so that's the way that they are. They were maybe born in a religious environment, in different culture. Again, it just adapted to different belief systems, and so again, never knew about spirituality, and that's led them to twin flames. And they were like, well, I still have a connection to you where normally I don't. Normally, I don't feel that this person has emotional connections because they don't let anybody in. You know, they didn't give anything. They didn't give anything here either. The difference is that they have a spiritual connection. So they're like, went on to the search, and I think just about to heal themselves, and they came across twin flame relationships. And I think they found the information on Facebook. Oh, and out of all places, but you know, the universe will conspire to bring you the information for anywhere. Again, if you desire to heal, and this person, believe me, desires to heal. Because they're like, my life sucks, you know, and will you even want to hear from me if my life looks the way that it does? It's again where, again, if they perceive that they're perfect now, for sure, they don't really like look perfect, because like I said, I feel like every relationship that they get into that takes a good piece of them, and the last one did a doozy. I'm afraid this relationship is too good to be true, and I pull away in fear. It's again still looking for the problems. And that's the runner chaser dynamic, where it's like, yeah, it's close. Oh, it's too good to be true. I can't let my guard down. And then they run away, which again, emotionally did not let you get close. Like, I mean, emotionally, you already are close because there's a soul connection, but wouldn't allow you to feel safe, kind of had you on guard until eventually you're like, okay, I can't really be in this connection because it's like the chaos from your past relationships. Until you heal that, you keep hurting me. And so even though I don't really want to do it, I have to do it. Well, I feel like words have hurt me in the past, and that's why I fear talking to you. It's again growing up in that type of environment. Again, we're not, as children, we didn't feel safe. So this person has intimacy issues because automatically, when they were growing up, when they tried to speak to like their parents, they were judged, and also their words were used against them, which happens in very dysfunctional families. Almost like it's the child's fault for, like the dysfunction that's happening. That's how the child takes it, because the parent is always angry dealing with them. So they avoid talking, they avoid saying anything. This way you can't hold anything against me, you can't twist anything. Again, they really need to heal these inner childhood wounds, because they played out in every single relationship. And try being in a relationship with someone that doesn't have a conversation, that has a problem speaking. It's next to impossible. And then they're defensive on top of it, like, because again, that's the reality that they're living. So if you don't know about this, you're connected to a person like this, you would feel like, okay, like this is just, I'm trapped in a circus, because that's what it is. It's like this person really needs healing. I feel like the sexual energy between us, yet it's beyond physical attraction. It needs to be elevated to the expression of deep unconditional love. So again, they feel like it's a twin flame relationship. However, do I feel that they are evolved enough to know that? No, I feel like that spirit saying, this is a twin flame relationship, but you are not on the vibration that you need to be. You need to rise. Otherwise, you are going to lose your twin. And you're just going to stay a karmic mate, a past life karmic mate. You don't evolve to the twin flame status. There's a part of this person that wants to do it, because again, I feel like there's a sense of not having a direction, not knowing who they are, wanting the direction, wanting to again feel connected. You guys have this connection, again, a deep soul's connection. They're looking for that now. They're looking for healing. So it's almost like, but they are not elevated. So there's a lot of passion there. But again, when we say elevate, there needs to be some emotional, this person needs to show up emotionally for you. They need to show up emotionally for themselves. That's how they should be accountable. Because I feel like this person tends to like get in their own way anytime that you need them. It's again where they really have sabotaging behaviors, which again happens from shame. They're in their old patterns, but they can't see it. Again, they're in their own patterns. So again, the pattern is that same of the emotional, the psychological, and the emotional. Again, that creates those behaviorisms. This person hasn't healed. So what happens is every time they get triggered, they're going to go to, again, the default mechanism of feeling not good enough, of not being capable, of like talking, overthinking, getting in their own way. Really, all this person really needs to do, I feel like, if it's a real twin flame relationship, they would have to surrender their ego, humble themselves, and really like be different. And by being different is to be consistent, to show up emotionally, to work on themselves, and to be able to be in a relationship at the same time. This is just basic, where this person, like I said, is what they had to watch. And so what they also feel like they would have to do, they watched a parent do all the work in the relationship. And there's a sense that they would feel like they have to do all the work in the relationship, and then they wind up with nothing all the time. And it's like that seems to be their karmic theme. So it's again, their relationships are always extremely codependent and very toxic and are all about chaos. It's like nothing but chaos, keep repeating. So even though you're not that person, you're someone that I don't believe that would bring all that to the table. Again, I feel like you've done the healing work. Whatever wounds that you have, this person's projecting all of their shit onto you, which is the same pattern of what this person does. Because that's what happens when you don't heal. When you don't heal, you project, you get triggered, and you feel like, again, that someone's doing something to you when really it's the fact that you're looking for it. You need to, again, heal yourself of it. So again, very spiritual connection, but we can see why. It's a divine connection that spirit says, yeah, I brought you together to heal. So we can see why they need to heal. Again, I feel the chemistry between us. We need to trust that the energy we share will bring us back together again. So again, this is a soulmate twin flame connection. This person is almost putting it in the hands of the universe because it's, again, they feel it, and they do have feelings. However, sometimes they want it. Sometimes they don't want it. See, the spirit part of self, which is God part of self, which is made of unconditional love, recognizes the unconditional love in this person, in you, rather, in you, and you recognize it in this person. However, it's like, and part of that is the chemistry, right? That's the passion, that's chemistry. We wouldn't stick around long enough to learn what we need to heal, right? We wouldn't if someone's triggering us, especially. And so, and also understand the sexual energy is fire, considered fire, and that's passion. And the twin flame journey is all about the transmutation of spiritual blocks. So again, we can see why your person feels this way with you. They always had that connection. They don't like it. Because again, every time they think about it, there's part of them that desires it because they are unconditional love. And we're down here to evolve back into unconditional love. So the higher self, is a God part of self, will always wants to return back to its natural, state. However, this person's wounded. So they're really holding a paradoxal like energy, which is, I want it, but I don't. And I don't want it because I've gotten hurt. It's like it never works out for me. It won't work out. It's too good to be true. It's not real. Like they're looking for a problem, which is again their pattern. And we see what we look for. So what I see again is that they're not going to do anything, but there is this belief that somehow it's going to evolve back in, because that you and this person will connect again, because there is unconditional love. They can feel you. They feel that energy, that cord between you and them is still there. I just feel like they're healing themselves, and understand the twin flame soulmate connection. There is a lot of healing that's done separately. That's why twin flames go apart, come back together, go apart, come back together, go apart, come back together. They do a lot of healing. And again, it says that a lot of times, all the time actually, these wounds are really deep. And that's why, again, their healing is done in separation. However, you can always feel your twin. And because what you're learning is that unconditional love never dies. It can't be destroyed. It can't be ruined. That's why when we have these connections, when a person hurts us, we're like, well, why do I feel like I want it, but I don't? It's like, and the reason why is because the unconditional love is there. That's a source. That was real. All the other bullshit was, again, shadows and wounds. And so when we love, we want to look at those wounds We do it because we're like, what's preventing me from getting what I want? Why isn't this working out? It's again, we want to do that when we really love. So what I see is that this person, like, again, is like, if there wasn't such deep attraction, they would be like, I'm not dealing with this. But they keep trying to walk away and be like, but they're like, I have such attraction. And that is what's inevitably going to make them do the work. Just don't see them reaching out to you. I feel them starting to, like, again, investigate why they are the way that they are. So you have to say, why did you connect to this person? What are you supposed to learn? Because, it's not always, it's not a one-sided thing. It's like, if they're your twin, they came in to teach you something, to show you something. Now they could, sometimes it's gifts. Not all the time is it wounds. We tend to associate, our spiritual blocks with just wounds. We forget that they're just blocks to parts of ourselves that we had to suppress, that we didn't fully develop because, again, we were in a survival mode. We were in a different place in our mind because of the environment called for it. Source, look at this. Ooh, there's somebody's psychic. Somebody's psychic again. So again, your intuition, that's a gift. So I feel like, again, your connection to source was always very strong, regardless of whether you knew that it was source. You might not have when you were a child. I thought that it was your imagination. Might have thought, again, it was then something else. And as you got older, you thought it was prayer. Again, but then as you got older, then you thought it was just your intuition. Well, all those things are your connection to source. And again, naive. So again, that I feel like in this case scenario, believe it or not, it's I feel like very pure. It's again that you didn't think that there was anything like you gave this person unconditional love at its best, which understand that is the healing panacea, which is the magic pill, right? It's like you gave this person that, like that unconditional love. However, it also could be like, again, a little bit paradoxy here too, because being naive and also giving this person also like hurt you because they are so wounded. However, again, spirit says it brought you closer and deeper to your connection to spirit. And also that allowed your person to hold on to really what unconditional love means, because I feel like while you're in separation, you both do feel each other, because again, source is that it's like that unconditional love is the energy of God. We're down here to learn. And I feel like you grew up in an environment that also didn't display that unconditional love. There was always seemed to be some expectation that you needed to fulfill in order to get that love, whether it was good grades or whether it was, to adapt to what your parents wanted and not what you wanted, and not really being able to be yourself. And another gift, optimism. So it's again, all these are positive cards. I just have to say, like, really do. I feel like you used to be a very negative person. And I feel and not that you were a negative person. I feel like you as a child was very positive, but the environment that you grew up in was very negative, and then it made you start to think the way that they thought. And so it started to have similar experiences, but those experiences were never you, because I feel like you grew up in a karmic family. So you may feel like, I grew up into this family, but I don't have a connection with any of them, or they don't have any connection to me, I feel like the black sheep of my family. So again, that's why you had a strong connection to source, because that didn't just happen. That's always happened, which is a feeling of inadequacy, that your environment made you feel that way. It made you also not be able to emotionally feel safe. Again, all these energies that are reflecting in this connection with your soulmate twin flame. And then but also brought up your naive, which is, I feel like you continue to love your family in hopes that they would be different, in hopes that they would be changed. You continue to give unconditional love. You are always optimistic and still tend to be, even though they always fell short, where spirit says you're blessed because of that. You're blessed because of that. And that is, understand, is what this person can feel, that you and them have that connection, that spiritual connection, because you both grew up in similar environments. You've done healing, they haven't. Their love for you is mainly because you're showing them in different way. It's because of the fact that you are, again, someone that's very spiritual, someone that is of unconditional love, someone that tends to be a little naive because you're not really looking for those things, and is optimist, even when it doesn't seem to be optimistic, right? But understand, again, the universe always applauds you for that, always gifts you for being that way, because you're giving unconditional love and you're displaying that. It's those people that, again, will, when you're gone, will feel your presence, will feel your presence not there anymore, where they took it for granted. And then, they'll be sorry for it. And so that's what this person, like I said, is experiencing now. Like they didn't want it, then they do want it, and they still like, I want it, but I don't want it, because again, they need to do that healing. So we ask spirit again, we see that, attracting, having this person in our lives, like again, in your life, Scorpio, like brought gifts, brought your gifts out more. So we say, what else should we do for the little bit of energy that we may feel like that we still hold on to this person a little bit? What else should we do to transmute the rest of this energy? Because once you learn the spiritual lesson, that karmic cord is a lot of times cut if you don't want this person. And that's how you're able to tell whether it's a twin flame or not a twin flame. If it's a twin flame, you won't be able to cut the karmic cord. You won't be able to do it. If it's not a twin flame, it's again like, well, once you learn the spiritual lesson, if it's twin flame, this person is here for the long haul, because you have deep-seated spiritual wounds from childhood that need to be transmuted, and you wouldn't learn about compromise, you wouldn't learn about unconditional love unless you were birthing something together through the act of creativity and passion, is the way, which is what this person feels, which is what I'm leaning towards, because again, the way that you grew up and the way that this person grew up. But for you to be sure, again, just because I'm telling you, again, you need to be sure where you embody that sense of feeling sure, so that you are confident. The way that you can do that, again, is to, like I said, integrate the spiritual energy. And if the person doesn't stick around and they fall off, then you know that they were karmic. Here and now, the future does not exist and the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again, because here and now there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. So if you choose to be with this person, you can't judge anything from the past. Again, you only have the here and now. That's number one. And that you focus on the present moment, not just by focus on it, but by creating it. Because again, like everything happens for a reason. So if you're like, well, this person shouldn't be in my life, it says spirit says everything's in divine order, especially if it's a twin flame soulmate relationship. Now you may not like what it looks like, but spirit says, I know what's best. The universe says, I know what it's best. You just feel like you need that because of it's activating a wound. Like you want it to look a certain way. That's ownership. And what you're going to learn is if you put these expectations on this connection, you're not, what's going to happen is you're going to start to corrode the relationship. And then what'll happen is that you'll still have feelings for this person. And you'll be stuck in a paradox of, I want this person, but I don't want this person. So it's about coming to a place of surrender, learning to fully surrender. Now, that doesn't mean surrender your life to the person. It means that you're not controlling what that looks like. If this person comes back into your life and they're humble and they work to get back into your life, you can let them work back into your life. But you have to forget about the past, because there is no danger. Everything happens when the soul is ready. So it's not so much even like, well, they did all this to me in the past. Well, when they come back, I'm sure it's again, you're going to talk it out and work it out. But if you choose to be in this connection, and why I say that is a lot of times people agree to be in the connection, but still are holding on to resentment. And they're saying, well, this person still does. Well, it's again, that's their block. And if it's triggering you that much, the relationship is supposed to be teaching you to learn to surrender that. So you might say, well, the person breadcrumbs me, they don't, so then you give less. Don't give your attention. It's again, you have to again do, but if the person's breadcrumbing, they're not your twin flame. This person's coming back with the intention to give, intention to whatever they intend to do. I just feel like it's not even really about that, because I don't even feel like this person is really strong enough to be in your life right now. I feel like they're learning about themselves, they're learning spiritually about themselves. But what I'm saying is, if you choose to take them back into your life, if they come back into your life, don't hold on to the resentment of who they were, what they did, because the relationship won't work, and it'll be a waste of your time. And because there's a lot of passion, again, with a soulmate twin flame, and you say, that's not me, well, then this isn't your reading. There's with a soulmate twin flame, there is a lot of passion. So, like I said, it's like we can't do that half thing of, well, I'll just be your friend, I'll just hang out. It's like, it's here and now. It's to be very rooted in what you want to do. And this relationship is supposed to trigger you, because your soulmate is your soulmate twin flame holds a mirror to you. So, and they hold the mirror to you that allows you to be able to see where you're wounded, where the light isn't coming in, so that you can integrate your spiritual lesson that you need to learn, and you integrate it because this person represents unconditional love. Now, does that mean that they act the way that you want to all the time? No, it means that even though they don't act the way that you would like them to most of the time, is that you still love them and you don't really understand why. It's because it's like, again, this person triggers me. Again, and you logically try to even find a reason. You can't, because again, they represent the energy of God, which is unconditional love. And there is love for them. And in order for that person to really heal intimacy wounds, which believe me, that's that second chakra, then what you and this person would need to heal growing up in the environments that you do, is to be the safe space for each other. And that's difficult because I feel like you both grew up in an environment that didn't allow you to have that safe space. So this is a way of almost like not just reparenting, yourselves, but helping to reparent each other. That's really what twin flames do when they're balanced. Now, if you're going to take the person back and you're going to be mad, then it's not going to be balanced and it's going to look like a shit show. I'm just letting you guys in on that. All right, Scorpio, I'm going to leave that there. Let me know if you resonated with this one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.